Hi everyone, my name is Stacey Schwartz and I'm an attorney at the Flammia Elder Law Firm, and I'm continuing a talk that we've had before about probate. So first we talked about what is probate, what needs to go through probate. Now we want to see, okay, you've determined that a probate's necessary, you've contacted an attorney, what comes next? So the likelihood is if you come to us and you talk to me, the next steps would be that it's time to start gathering paperwork. So probate is a legal procedure, it's a legal administration. Through the probate process, we're going to need bank statements, records, documentation for what comes next. Can't just go off of word of mouth. So the next steps are going to be to gather all the paperwork. We're going to need a death certificate for your loved one. We're going to need accounts. We're going to need to know information about all of the family members. So if your loved one had a will, the will says who inherits and how, so we're going to need to know their names, dates of birth, phone numbers, addresses, because everyone's likely going to be contacted through this probate process. If there isn't a will, Florida law says who inherits, and Florida law might not say who inherits the way you think, if that makes any sense. But Florida law is intestate law, so if someone passes away without a will, it goes intestate, which means that the law determines who inherits. So in general, if you were married and you have children with the same spouse, your spouse inherits 100%. The catch that we often see is that maybe you have a spouse, but you don't have children from the same marriage. If that's the case, the unfortunate news sometimes is that the spouse only gets 50% and then the children get 50%. So something you want to talk to an attorney about, especially if there is no will, who inherits and how. So gathering paperwork, contacting family members, and then the attorney's office, or us, we're going to start drafting the paperwork. It takes a lot of paperwork to get everything in order. If everyone gets along well, it's just a matter of filing the right paperwork, and oftentimes we can give the judge everything they need to know to get the process started. Family members aren't getting along, that does complicate things, so that the whole process might be a little bit different. I can tell you at our firm, we try and focus on families that are not litigated. It can be really sad to see families fighting over their loved ones' assets, so definitely that depends how the case plays out, how long probate takes, all of that. So you're going to gather paperwork, reach out to the family members, the attorney's office is going to start working on the paperwork. One step that needs to be determined is who is going to be the personal representative of the estate. Up north they call the personal representative the executor, but in Florida we actually say personal representative. So it's the same thing, just different terms. The personal representative is the person in charge. So that's the person who's going to hire the attorney, who's going to gather all the records, contact companies, deal with a CPA, any taxes, any issues like that. So the personal representative is really the person who's in charge of the business side of things for the decedent. When I say decedent, that's the loved one or the person who passed away. Decedent is the legal term of who they are. So the personal representative, they're going to sign off on the paperwork that the attorney prepares, and then we file everything with the court. So we file a petition for administration, which lays out who the family members were of the decedent, what the assets are, and it lays out some other information, but that's basically putting the court on record of what is going on in this estate. We file that, we file some other paperwork with it. I won't get into the details of everything that's prepared, but a lot of documents are prepared. And then we file the case with the court, and it's up to the judge to appoint the personal representative. Now, if you've been working on gathering assets and you haven't been appointed as the personal representative yet, you might come into issues where a bank is not talking to you, a title company is not talking to you, an insurance company is not talking to you because they don't have the legal authority to talk to you. While your loved one was alive, the bank or the insurance company, etc., can talk to that loved one, but when they're gone, you need to have a legal representative appointed, and that's the personal representative. So unfortunately, when someone passes away, there's a weird in-between time period between when they pass away, the family's gathering all the paperwork, and the personal representative is appointed. So in this weird middle ground time period, sometimes there's not much that can be done just because you don't have the legal authority to do it yet. Once the personal representative is appointed, then things really get started because then there's someone there who is authorized to act on behalf of the estate. So I'm going to keep on going through a few different topics, so join us next time for what comes next.